Warm sunshine with a light breeze drew a near-record attendance from both town and county yesterday for the 181st Black Isle Show. The ringside was packed by early afternoon for the Grand Parade of Champions, which was preceded by the selection of a Champion of Champions for the first time at the show. It was an ideal show day and the attendance was up almost 2,000 from last year, said show secretary, Mackenzie. It was a real community event with a great family atmosphere and the feel-good factor was very much to the fore. In the ring, it was the overall sheep champion from the Polson North Country Cheviot flock of Smyrley, Libster, Caithness, which carried off the new Glakemoor Cup for the Champion of Champions, judged by NFU Scotland Vice President and Southwest Dairy Farmer, Gary Mitchell. He selected the ewe as his champion over the beef, cattle, horse and fur and feather champions. It was a homebred ewe by Duran Rover and out of a ewe by a Biggins Tup. Prior to her success yesterday, she stood interbreed champion at Caithness. Runners-up for the Champion of Champions title with their beef cattle champion, Blair Defton from Huntley and Rebecca Stewart from Inch, were continuing their amazing run of success at recent shows with their limousine cross heifer, Shaniqua. Shaniqua was beef interbreed champion. She was Champion of Champions at Bantry on Saturday and has now chalked up 3 interbreed successes and 2 reserves over the past month. The pair also won the coveted trophies for the Best Pair and Best 3 Beef Animals, with the reserve pair coming from Anne McPherson, Blackford, Croy, with Simmentals and the top trio, also Simmentals, from Ian Green, Korski, Dartmouth. The Beef Reserve Interbreed title went to the leader from the Simmental section. This was Anne McPherson's 2-year-old heifer Blackford, highlight by the 18,000 GNS Kilbride Farm double action. Reserved for the Interbreed Sheep Championship was the Charolais leader from brothers Gregor and Bruce Ingram of Logie Durno, Inverurie. They took the title with their ewe, which was breed champion at the Royal Highland Show last month and one of the winning interbreed pair at the Royal Welsh last week. Umpire, Kenny Mackenzie, former boss of Dingwall and Highland Marts, was called in to decide the overall horse championship between the Clydesdale and Shetland champions. He opted for the Clydesdale winner, 2-year-old filly, Ord Tinkerbell, by Sketchrogan Ernest, for American Miranda Johnston of Highfield Circle, Muir of Ord. Ord Tinkerbell was native horse champion. The filly won the coveted Cawdor Cup for the Clydesdale Championship at this year's Royal Highland Show, where the Johnstones were showing for only the second time. This follows her winning a string of championships last year, including the National Stallion Show. Results: beef cattle Aberdeen Angus, David Walker, Galcantre, Nairn, with a 3-year-old cow named Galcantre Pam, by Blelick, Jupiter Eric, and out of an earlier Pam cow. She stood champion at Nairn last month. Reserve: Alan Rennie, Moston Muir Forfer, with a 4-year-old bull named Moston Muir Excalibur. He is by Nether Alan Peter Pershore and out of Moston Muir Emily. He was reserve interbreed champion at Fife, champion at Angus and first at the Royal Highland Show in a class of 19. Beef Shorthorn, the Anderson family, Smallburn Farms, Plewlands, Duffus, Elgin, with a 3-year-old homebred bull named Smallburn Jethro, by Lother Emblem and out of Smallburn Fifi. He was champion at the Royal Highland Show and this was his 4th championship in a row at the Black Isle. Reserve: the Anderson family at Smallburn Farms, with a 2-year-old homebred heifer called Smallburn Kylie. She is by Cold Rocky Front Rank, and out of Bonaccord Margot. This was her first time shown. Charolais, Billy and Gary Wright, Log of H, Glen Leavitt, with 3-year-old cow, Log of H Lucy, by Inverlochie Ferdy and out of Kelton Finesse. She was 3rd at the Royal Highland Show and stood champion at the Black Isle 2 years ago as a heifer. Reserve: R.A. Milne & Sons, Kenny's Hillock, Londbride, Elgin, with a homebred 17-month-old bull called Elgin Neuer. He is by Woodpark Elgin and out of Elgin Ultra, the dam of the 20,000 GNS Elgin Davincia. He was junior interbreed champion at the Royal Highland in June. The Charolais champion from the Wright family. Limousine, W.F. Crookshank & Sons, Cleary, Grantown-on-Spey, with a homebred yearling bull called Cleary Nexus. He is by Foxhill Farm Impeccable and out of Cleary Gigi. His sire stood champion at Carlisle in 2015 when he was purchased for 14,000 GNS. He is destined for the breed sale in Carlisle in October. Reserve, R. Mitchell, Karen Mains Farm, Aberlour, with an 18-month-old heifer called Karen Lee Monica. She is by Ben Craig in excess, and out of homebred cow, Karen Lee Fifi. She was placed in her class at Act. Simmental, Ann McPherson, Blackford Farm, Croy, with a 2-year-old heifer called Blackford Highlight. She is by the 18,000 GNS Kilbridge Farm Double Action and out of Blackford Amber. She was junior female champion at the Simmental National Show last year at Perth. Reserve, Ann McPherson with homebred yearling bull, Blackford Indigo, by the same sire as the champion and out of Blackford Waxwing. He was Continental Beef Breeder Champion at the Royal Highland. Commercial, Blair Dufton, Huntley, and Rebecca Stewart, Inch, with 20-month-old Limousine Cross heifer, Shaniqua, by Lodge Hamlet and out of a Limousine Cross cow. She was Champion of Champions at Bantry, Reserve Interbreed Champion at New Deer and Necht, Interbreed Champion at Fettercairn, Second at Royal Highland and Reserve at Angus. Reserve and Calf Champion, J. Munro & Son, Invertsharon, Ardgate, with January-born Limousine ex-British Blue Cross, She Who Dares, by Plumtree Fallon. Class winner at Sutherland, Highland, Craig Finney, Richmond Hill House, Peterhead, with a 2-year-old homebred bull named Philip of Richmond Hill. He is by Charlie of Richmond Hill and out of Heather of Richmond Hill. He was champion at New Deer. This was his last show before retiring for stockman, Angus Mitchie. Reserve, Hamish Irvine, Craigliscar, Dunfermline, with 16-month-old heifer, Millie Dube of Craigliscar, by Angus Dube, one of Savalm, and out of Millie of Craiglivser. British Blue, J.K. Manson, Upper Northfield, Hempriggs, Wick, with a female named Caithness Crystal. Reserve, Smallburn Farms, Elgin, with a female named Loosewater Little Bo Peep. Any other beef breed, Willie Hendry, Ordhill, Longmorn, Elgin, with 6-year-old Gasconay bull, Hublon, by Derby. He was first at the Sutherland Show last month. Reserve, Willie Hendry with a Gasconay female named Borland Isla. She was bought as part of a group from the West Coast. Local, W.J. Jack & Sons, Wood End, Killernon, with a cow and calf. Reserve, J. Mackenzie & Co., Wester Craiglands, Fortrose, with a cow and calf. Rare and minority breeds, Angela Smith, Glendercard Farm, Cromarty. Sheep Blackface, Glenrins Farms Limited, Dufftown, with a homebred shearling ram by a 2,200 pounds Deltrilla. Reserve, Glenrins Farms Limited with a Gimmer by the same sire as the champion. Blueface Leicester, M. Seed & Son, Home Farm, Auchry, Humanes Down, with shearling ram, Auchry 4,447, by Lower Down H3, bought at Bilth-Wells for £5,000 and shared with W&C Ingram, Logie Durno, Inverurie. Reserve, M. Seed & Son with 1 crop homebred U by Myferian H1. The Blueface Leicester champion. Chirale, Gregor and Bruce Ingram, Logie Durno, Inverurie, with a ewe named Lonehead River Dance, by Crogham Hannibal and out of homebred ewe. She was champion at the Royal Highland Show and one of interbreed pair at the Royal Welsh. Reserve, Ailey and Aaron Duncan, Barnyards, Mint Law, with a ewe lamb by Lonehead Single Malt. She stood champion at New Deer in Reserve at Act. Texel Gemma Green, Korski, Garmouth with Ram Lamb, Korski Bentley, by Strathbogie Yes Sir. He previously stood first at Act and Fettercairn. Reserve, Gemma Green with a 2-crop ewe by Valhalla Sire and out of a ewe by Teaglum Tornado. Cross, Gavin Breed at Woodside Croft, Black Park, Ardersier, with Gimmers by a Westermoy Texel Sire. Reserve, Gavin Breed with a ewe by the same sire as the champion, with Suffolk Cross Lambs. Jacob, Adam Christie, Birchfield, Glass, Huntley, with Ram, Hope Knockout. He was champion at Nairn. Reserve, Adam Christie with Gimmer, Adamski Lottie, by Dunmore Antonio. She was champion at Fettercairn and New Deer. North County Cheviot, a Polson, Smyrlee, Libster, with a homebred ewe by Duran Rover and out of a ewe by a Biggins Tup. She stood interbreed champion at Caithness Reserve, a Polson with a 2-shear tup named Smyrlee Vince by Duran Rover. North County Cheviot, Hill, North Loch Naver, Alt Nahara, with 4-shear tup Badenloch Battleship, by North Loch Naver Nomad. Reserve, Badenloch LLP, Kinbrace, with a 3-crop homebred ewe by North Loch Naver Nomad and out of a ewe by Clever Jackanory. Shetland, Ian and Leslie Carnegie, Bromhull, Rickerton, Stonehaven, with a gimmer named Radike Savary, by Kymno Gold-plated and out of Greenacre Ariana. Reserve, Ian and Leslie Carnegie with a 2-shear tup named Radike Solomon, by St. Baldard Barnaby. He was reserve at the Royal Highland Show last year. Suffolk, Keith Ingram, 2 Balloch View, Grange, Keith, with a 1-crop ewe, by Ballynacanon Big Baz, bought at the Deveronside Dispersal. Reserve, Marion Ian Bissett, Marion, Culnaskith, Evan, with a 3-shear Mirren tup named His Royal Highness by Solway Bank Pound Stretcher. He stood reserve at Sutherland. Zwartbulls, Carrie and Sarah Bissett with a 1-crop ewe named Sinfindana, by Sinfin Arwell, and bought at Carlisle in November last year. Reserve, K&W Anderson, Karen Hill, Bar, Inverness, with the Ram Lamb by Cara David Hay and out of a ewe by Karen Hill Big Time. Any other purebred, Deborah Atkinson, The Manse, Duncanston, Inch, with a 1-crop blue Texel ewe that stood champion at Act Show last month. Reserve, Jan Mackenzie, Landale, Strathnaver, Kinbrace, with a 3-shear South Country Cheviot tup by Catslack Bernays and out of a Mount Venture ewe. She stood champion any other breed at Sutherland and was placed 3rd at the Royal Highland Show. Crofters Sheep, Ewan Simpson, Karen Side, 36 Old Halve Watton, Wick, with a Texel ewe lamb by Main View of Eva. She was first unreserved non-MV champion at Caithness Reserve, Greg McKinnon, Keodale Bungalow, Durness, with a 7-crop North Country Cheviot ewe, by Suisse Jill Sire.